I'm Marin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here on this channel you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. In today's video, I am going to bring you my April Empties. Now, quick disclaimer, I filmed this last week, somehow lost all the footage, so I am recreating it here. So instead of having the actual items, I will be putting pictures over here for you for the items that I no longer have, but I do have a list of everything that I completed because I have an inventory that I keep track of all of my usage on, so I can still bring you everything that I used, just not in the way that I originally intended. So without further ado, let's get on with today's video. Since I originally filmed this video back on April 25th, I do have a few more items that I have finished in the meantime, so I'm going to go ahead and start with those first. Those are the items that I actually still have, as opposed to the ones that I filmed originally and got rid of already, recycled, threw away, that kind of stuff, only to realize that all of the footage I'd filmed was lost. So let's hope that doesn't happen today. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my first item. It is a hair care item. It is the Oribe Après Beach Wave and Shine Spray. After beach, it looks like this. I do like this, however, it's pretty pricey. So while I do intend to purchase a new wave spray because that's what I like to use in my hair on the second day, it probably will not be this one just because of the price. Now, this does have a nice smell, so in that respect, it works really well. It did add wave back into my hair on second day, but the price is just kind of ridiculous. So I will not be repurchasing, although it is a good product. The second item that I'm going to go ahead and talk about is a hand cream. So I did cut it open to get all of the product out. This is the Skin Fix Eczema Hand Repair Cream. It looks like this. This was a nice hand cream, but again, kind of pricey. I got it from Sephora just because I was kind of in the lurch and really needed a new one, and this one was the first one that I found. But I think I'm going to go ahead and try a drugstore one. I like to have a hand cream at night to put on before I go to bed, but I don't really think that this one was anything special, so I will not be repurchasing. My next items are some makeup items. So I have two Benefit Professional sample packets that I received and used. They're just one-time use. I don't love this primer. It was just something that I had, so I went ahead and used it, but there are better things out there. This one does nothing for oil control, and I am pretty oily in my T-zone, and I also really don't feel like it does much for blurring pores, but your mileage may vary, but for me, this is not something that I will be repurchasing. The next item I used up is this IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Pressed Powder. Now, I completed this full size. However, I found a little mini, so I went ahead and pressed it into this one just because I like this container better than the little cardboard package. So I'm currently working on finishing up the mini. That's what's in here. But I did complete the whole original Bye Bye Pores Pressed Powder. I like this. I don't love it. I think it works fine, but again, it doesn't really help with oil control, and it can be kind of drying. I'm kind of combo skin, so my under eye area and my cheeks can be a little bit more dry. This sometimes clings to dryness, so I don't love it, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it up just to get rid of it, but I will not be repurchasing. The next two items I have are skincare items. So the first one is this Elixir Vitae Eye Serum from Tata Harper. It's one of these little foil packets. I don't know how much this is, but I would imagine it is extremely expensive. Tata Harper is very pricey. I don't think this is anything spectacular. You can find eye creams at the drugstore for a much better price point that probably do the same thing, but I used it up. It was fine. Will not repurchase. And then I also finished up the last pack of the Acne Pimple Master Patch from CosRx. This is my favorite acne patch. This is one of those hydrocolloid patches. These come in different sizes, which are nice, and you can get a pretty good amount of them. There's 24 in a pack, and you get 3 of these, so they last a pretty long time, and it's a pretty good price point. So I already did repurchase a pack of these because, as I said, they are my favorites. And the last item that I have here is just a box of Band-Aids that I finished up. Nothing really spectacular about them, but I'll repurchase them because I do prefer the brand name in this case. And yeah, I mean, they're Band-Aids, so there's not much to say. Okay, and now we are going to get into the items that I used up and filmed on the 25th that have since been thrown away. So I have a list on my computer, so if you see me looking down, I'm just reading off the names there, and again I will put the pictures here so that you can see what the item looked like since I no longer have the packaging. So here we go. I am going to kind of group these into categories just to try to make it a little bit easier. Okay, the first item that I had used up was a candle. This was the butterbeer flavor candle from the Page, picture here. I don't know if they still make this. I don't think she still does the actual Harry Potter names on things, so there might be something similar, but I doubt that it's still called butterbeer just because of copyright. But it's a really nice smell, more fall, but I just kind of wanted to finish it up and I enjoyed it. Okay, I'm going to move on to skincare next. While I was digging through a box, I unearthed a set of Glam Glow products. So the first one that I used and finished up was the Glam Glow Super Cleanse Cleanser. Now this was pretty strange. It's gray and thick and it looks like a face mask. So you squeeze it out, you rub it together, and it lathers up a little bit, but it had a kind of odd smell. It smelled kind of like black licorice, and I really was not a fan. I don't love heavily scented products, so that was kind of a no-go for me. Would not recommend and would not repurchase. The same goes for their Glam Glow Water Burst Moisturizer. It had this fruity scent that, again, I just didn't love. It was blue in color, which I just don't really think moisturizers should be dyed to make them look more attractive. I mean, a white moisturizer is perfectly fine. It was a gel moisturizer, so it did sink into the skin nicely, but I would not recommend it just solely because of the smell. The next skincare item that I used up was a little mini of the Sephora Ultra Glow. That's their vitamin C serum. I just used like 4 to 6 drops in my hand, rubbed it together, put it on my face, so that little mini lasted quite a while. I don't really think it did anything, but yeah, I used it. It was fine. I would not repurchase it. The next skincare item was a spot treatment, and it was the Tata Harper Clarifying Spot Treatment. Now, I mentioned with that eye cream that the Tata Harper is very pricey. However, I do love that spot treatment. I feel like it helps heal breakouts much more quickly. Even the cystic ones, it will kind of bring them to a head, if you will, to make them a little bit easier to deal with and get rid of. So I am missing that now that I do not have it, but I cannot repurchase it until I finish up the Tarte Blemish Bully, which is the one that I am currently working on, but I will be repurchasing that. Again, it's probably pricier than it should be, but it is one of the only spot treatments that I've really found that works for me. Next up, we are going to move on into body care. So I did finish a few body care items this month. I mentioned in my low buy introduction, which I will link up in the cards, that I do not count body care anymore in terms of my monthly beauty budget. I don't overspend on that category, and I am down to just one of everything, which is where I want to be with that. So it no longer counts against my beauty budget, but I did replace pretty much all of these items, so I'll just kind of run through them pretty quickly. So the first one that I used up was a body wash. It was from Victoria's Secret, and it was their coconut milk and rose body wash. I think it's called their Calm body wash. I liked the smell of it originally, but once you lathered it up and started to spread it on your body, the scent kind of changed a little bit, and I did not love it as much as I did when it was just in the container. It did lather up nicely, but it was not very much product, and you can get much more cost-effective things from the drugstore. You could even probably find coconut milk and rose because that's pretty popular at this point, so I would not repurchase that one. I am currently using one from Olay. It's a much bigger bottle. It was much less expensive, even though I got the Victoria's Secret one on sale. So yeah, would not recommend it solely because of the amount that you get for the cost. My next product that I used up was a shaving cream, and I used the Cremo shaving cream in mango coconut. It lasted me months. So you only need the slightest little bit. It does not foam up like most shaving creams. You put a little bit on your hand, you rub it together, it works up a really nice lather and just makes your razor slide over your skin and prevent razor burn and nicks and things like that. I am really prone to razor burn, so I really enjoyed it. I've already repurchased it, although I am trying the French lavender scent right now, which I do not like, as well as the mango coconut, but it's fine. I'll use it up, and then I will probably just repurchase the mango scent. Next item I used up was a body scrub, and it was the Soap and Glory Breakfast Scrub. Now, this scrub is not very gritty, so if you like a scrub that is actually scrubby, I would not recommend this one. It's much more gentle. I liked it fine, but I also like the Tree Hut brand from Ulta, which is what I have in my shower right now. So I kind of go back and forth between them just depending on which one might be a little bit less expensive. Ulta was having a sale on their Tree Hut products, which is why I went with that one this time. But yeah, it's perfectly serviceable, although if you want something really gritty, it's not the one for you. The next item that I used up is a powder, and it has a really stupid name, but it is the Lady Anti-Monkey Butt Powder. Dumbest name ever, but it is a pink color. So one thing that I did not love about it is that it would sometimes stain my clothing. Now when you wash it, it did come out, but I didn't love that pink coloring to it. I believe it has calamine lotion in it, which is where it gets that color from. But it was perfectly serviceable. I just did not love the color. So instead I went with a powder from Gold Bond to replace it, and I will probably stay away from anything, again, that is dyed or colored, just because I don't really think it's necessary. The last item that I used up is kind of more of a tool, and that is a pack of Up and Up cotton swabs. So I replaced it with the exact same thing. I do the 750 count just because they last the longest and they seem most cost effective. I use them to clean up eye makeup, apply spot treatments, things like that. So yeah, I just replaced it for itself when I ran out. I also went through 2 razor refills from Billy, and I am not going to be repurchasing or resubscribing, I guess I should say, to them. I am going to try the safety razors next. They are just a better option, I think. There's no plastic, they're easier to recycle, and I don't think my skin loves the 5 blades because I still get razor burn. I'm, as I mentioned, pretty prone to it, so I'm just going to try a safety razor out and see if that works better for me. Okay, I also used up a hair care item. It was the Oribe texturizing spray. Again, just like with the wave spray, it's very pricey. You can find something, I'm sure, that works the same for less money, so I will not be repurchasing it. I also don't love the way my hair feels when I use a texturizing spray, so it's just not a product that I feel like I need, and if I do decide that I need one later on down the road, I will go with one that is less expensive. Although Oribe does have a nice scent, that's not enough to justify the price. I also used up 2 perfume minis. I used up a little tiny sample size of the Prada Candy scent, and I also used up a little mini of the MAC Candy Yum Yum scent. Both of them were pretty sweet, as the candy in the name would imply, but the MAC Candy Yum Yum had this spicy kick after you would put it on. I didn't love it. I didn't love the Prada candy either, but they were perfectly fine. I wore them, used them up. It took me about a week to go through the little sample, and now they are out of my collection, but they are not scents that I will be repurchasing in any capacity in the future. And my last category of empties are makeup items. So I actually used up a few makeup items this month. I went through a NYX Micro Brow eyebrow pencil. I go through one of those a month. And because of that, I'm actually going to be switching to an eyebrow pencil that I can sharpen, because I feel like that's going to be much more cost effective. Those eyebrow pencils run about $10 a pop, and if you multiply that by 12, that's just a lot of money to spend on an eyebrow pencil. So I'm looking for something that's going to save me a little bit of money. I also used up a primer. I had a little mini of the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I liked it. I liked that it kind of held my makeup in place. However, I could not get the little remnants in the bottom out of the package because the tube inside just didn't go far enough down. So I wasted probably 2 to 3 more uses, which was unfortunate because you want to get your full money's worth. I don't know if the full size is the same way, but the mini, I was pretty disappointed that I could not actually get all of the product out. So while it worked really well, I don't think I will be repurchasing. I think ultimately I like silicone-based primers the best, so that's kind of where I'm going to be leaning from now on. I also used up a mini of the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. I liked it, but I felt like it was a little drying under my eyes, which was interesting because it has the name Creamy in it. So because it really accentuated the dryness under my eyes, I personally will not be repurchasing. If you are prone to dry under eyes as well, I would not recommend it. I would say stay away. And the last item that I used up in April was a setting spray. It was the Cover FX High Performance Setting Spray. Now, I didn't love this. I felt like it left my skin looking oily. It didn't really help hold my makeup in place. I felt like it kind of slid around, particularly in my T-zone, where I, again, am more oily. Having to wear a mask all the time to teach, I get hot and sweaty, and it was just really moving around, even though that was not an area where the mask was touching. So I would not recommend it if you are combo to oily skin. I think their mattifying setting spray is much, much better, even though it's really expensive. It's probably my favorite setting spray of all time. So I will not be repurchasing the high performance one. And if I do go back to a Cover FX setting spray, it will definitely be the mattifying one. And the last item that I used up was a bath bomb that was a gift from one of my friends for Christmas. I believe it was Supernatural inspired. I tried to Google and find it, but couldn't find anything like it. It was fine, although it was green, so it kind of left a mess in the bathtub. I kind of prefer lighter colored bath bombs just because they're easier to clean up, and I really don't think that I'm going to repurchase any bath bombs for a while. If I decide I want something, I'll probably go with Epsom salts or something like that. That again are a little bit more cost effective since you can get a big bag of them and they last for a lot longer. So that's that. So to wrap up, I managed to finish 29 items in the month of April, which I consider a big win, especially since it's helped me thin out my collection. I am still working through a lot of extra skincare, a lot of extra hair care, and a lot of extra makeup items. So I still have a ways to go, but I'm happy with the progress that I'm making and hope that it can continue next month. Thank you so much for watching my empties video. If you liked it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Again, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me on this little YouTube journey, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye, everyone.